All right, what up, fellas? Welcome back to the Daniel Federico Show. Today we have two guests. If you guys remember PJ Grisafi, a fan favorite from the Four Kings podcast, and a new guy joining us, Spencer Way. Spence, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Daniel. How are you doing, man?
No, doing good. Spence, this is your first podcast ever?
Yeah, I'm my first podcast ever, man. I'm honored, we
Let's
spend a
go.
lot of time talking ball and everything like that, but finally we get to, put it out
You're,
and for the world to see.
you're gonna put that ball knowledge to use today. But first, we have a little sponsorship we have to talk about, a little plug. JV Loop Football Niagara, the Niagara Regional Minor Football Association's registrations have opened up. If you are in grade 9 to 11, play JV football for Football Niagara. But let's get into it.
Very
The
worth it.
Super Bowl, the Super Bowl just happened. Let's start with PJ. PJ, what do you think your thoughts on that Super Bowl was?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was an absolute beating. It was a terrible game.
Tragic game, but you had a good win though. The nice little betting win.
Yeah, the bets hit, but like entertainment value, that has been, I was a stinker.
Spence, what do you think about
Yep.
that game?
Just the collapse from the Chiefs' offensive line. I think, from the first drive, really, it was not competitive. They just dominated the run game. Eagles pass protection was on cloud nine. Everything the Chiefs were just outmatched in this matchup here badly.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd seen a team in probably a long time, probably actually ever I've ever been alive for. The opposing team, the not Philadelphia Eagles, never ran a blitz for 3-4 man line. That's the first I've ever
Oh,
seen it in
yeah.
a minute.
Oh, when you're
But
getting pressure, you don't really
Yeah.
have to.
Oh, yeah,
exactly, it's the Georgia
52%
boys.
pressure rate. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
unbelievable.
it was the Georgia boys with Jalen Carter. Who else was on that line? With
Nolan Smith on the
Nolan
edge.
Smith.
Brandon Graham
Josh
came
Sweat.
back from
Yeah,
yep. Josh Sweat got his contract paid, that big boy after last game for sure. 2.5 sacks.
do you think
Oh,
he said these comments after the game that he thinks he deserved the MVP? It was a little bit it sounded like a little bit of a shot to Jalen Hurts. You think it was a shot or not?
you know what? Jalen Hurts has faced a lot of adversity, in regards to people criticizing the run game or the passing game and such. Jalen Hurts played an unbelievable game. Aside from that pick, you know, the Super Bowl MVP is a quarterback award, but historically, if you look at guys like Von Miller, defensive players also have also, made their impact and won Super Bowl MVPs in the past. But I think it was Jalen Hurts' rightful award.
Yeah, I think he played a near perfect game. Peach, what do you think?
I disagree. Last time there was a Super Bowl like this, it would have been Denver, Seattle.
Yeah.
And in that one, it went to a defensive player. Defense won that game. If you
Yeah.
don't allow points until after half and you're up 27, it's the defense that won you that game.
Yeah, I think Sweat deserved that award. But Jalen Hurts did play a near perfect game. Got to give it to Jalen Hurts for that one. But yeah, Josh Sweat played amazing. He was honestly the difference maker to shut down Patrick Mahomes and the run game and how Travis Kelce. You think, I'll ask you guys a question. You guys think Travis Kelce is done playing football? Who wants to kick
I
that
think
man?
Uh,
so. I think he's done it all. Brother left the league. He's got nothing left to prove. He looks a little bit slower every year out there. I think it might be time to see Kelsey call it quits.
Spence, what do you think?
yeah, if he wants to end his career off on a high note, not be an Aaron Rodgers situation. This year's ideally either he'd hang it up, but the way that the game has changed and tight ends blocking less and stuff like that, he's still a fantastic route runner. I could envision him, playing for another year or two, but
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
I think he's done. I think he's too slow out there. He looked terrible in that Super Bowl. What do you had? Two catches, two drops. He made four catches for what 30 something yards. Not even a touchdown. Not even a look in the red zones. Even the garbage time touchdowns the Chiefs scored, he didn't even get a single look in the red zones. He looked awful. Probably the worst football this year. He looked sluggish, terrible. Probably the worst football I've seen him ever play in his entire career. Thank God they put that Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce debate to bed. Same with that Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes debate to bed. Thank God, because I don't think I've ever seen Tom Brady or Gronk or those boys ever get demolished in a Super Bowl. Maybe the first half against the Falcons. But we all know how that ended.
Yep.
I don't think anyone's ever going to come close to those guys. I think the only debate that I'm going to keep alive forever, because I love Tony Gonzalez, it's going to be Tony Gonzalez and Gronk. Those two as receiving tight ends. Blocking tight ends,
That's more like it.
that's
Hey,
more
well,
like it.
hey, Fed, I've got a question for you then. In terms of talking dynasties like that, where do the Eagles go from here?
I think they can keep the boys going, the boys rolling to next year. Why couldn't they repeat? I think they can repeat. I think they'll be the favorites for sure to repeat if everyone stays ready. And if Saquon has the exact same year rushing wise, there should be no reason why we don't see the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl unless our Dallas Cowboys somehow get smart and having a competitive offseason and sign some guys and have a great draft. The NFC East is looking at the NFC Beast.
It is best division in football, and it's not close.
Yeah, I think it is the best division in football, most historic division in football. But yeah, the Eagles, I do think they're going to be back, or they're going to for sure make it to the NFC championship again because they are a dominant team.
Yeah.
Especially, and everyone always doubts Jalen Hurts. Like I'm a Jalen Hurts doubter too, but he's in the same division as the Cowboys, so I'm going to doubt him every chance I can
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
But truthfully, after that game, he is a fantastic quarterback. And that tush push play, they got to find a way to get rid of that damn
Yeah.
play. 'Cause I
Yeah,
hate
no,
it.
it's
Oh,
unfair
it's
to
good.
the
It's
D
good
lineman.
football.
Yeah, it's good football. No one can stop it. It's the most impossible play in football. But my God, it just sucks. Imagine you're a defensive coordinator and it's already on the 1 yard line. You touchdown. Stop
No,
it.
it's unbelievable, especially when you look at the dynamics and that way that the offensive line is created. Average height of 6'6", heaviest O line in Super Bowl
Yeah.
history. They are just an absolute machine. The problem is with the tush push that it's very boring and you can't practice to stop it, right? You don't want your D lineman getting hurt in practice, and everybody knows the effect, of a good pass rush and a good run stop as demonstrated in this Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. Unbelievable, but
Literally, it is
The
unbelievable. But
Eagles deserve to run that play because no other team in football can run that play like they do.
nope,
exactly,
nope.
yeah, because
And
Jalen
they have
Hurts
the
is a
O line, they
beast.
have talent for it, and they should be able to run it.
yeah, that is
Jalen
true.
Hurts is an absolute monster, man. That guy is unbelievably strong. And when your quarterback can squat damn near, 700 pounds, well, there's really nobody that could keep up or stop that play. It's unbelievable.
That's true. But I wonder what's going to happen when they have a new offensive coordinator in because Kellen Moore is now the
Yeah.
New Saints head coach. Do you think they can still be successful running the ball with a new offensive coordinator? Who wants to start it off?
Well,
Oh,
if you
absolutely.
look at Jalen Hurts, man, that guy has played. He's transferred from Alabama to Oklahoma. He's played with new offensive coordinators pretty much every year of his collegiate and professional career. So if there's one guy that can adjust, and there's Nick Sirianni seems to be a good head coach. I think that
Yeah.
this is not going to be anything going to affect them too bad. Minimum they'll be back in the conference championship again.
PJ, what do you think?
It's too talented of an offense not to continue to be successful. Just as a team as a whole, if you retain all the players, that's a dangerous team. That will always be a dangerous team.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. And Nick Sirianni does have a great mind. So if he has to do the play calling next year, so be it, because he'll do a fantastic job. He'll probably be the exact same like Kellen Moore this year. Because Kellen Moore, I can't believe to say that. The Cowboys fired him for a damn reason, but it looked
Yeah.
like he really made a comeback in the coaching world. But there was a reason why he did get fired at the Cowboys. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago now, or 3 years ago? There was a reason he sucked, and then he
Yeah, he
found
was
his way
terrible.
to the Eagles, and then he became one of the. He is a good offensive minded coach for sure. That was his offensive coordinator, but he's a great a play caller. So Nick Sirianni, if he needs to call those plays, I think he's going to take a page out of Kellen Moore's book and just do the exact same job. And it's going to be tough to stop Saquon behind that big ass O line. Like the Chiefs honestly almost did do it. Like he was averaging
Yep.
3-4 yards carry, but at the same time though, that pass protection was perfect. I don't even.
Well, and that just, it just goes to show how important that, an elite run threat is that when opposing defenses don't know whether you're throwing the ball, you have a quarterback that can move. If you're going to attack through the air, attack on the ground, it's such a dynamic threat that really that just goes to show that teams like Dallas and need to adjust and get the run game because it doesn't matter if Jalen Hurts plays bad. When your run game's that competent, man, you could drive down the field effortlessly every game.
I gotta say, what a game by Devontae Smith. That deep ball threat. Have you guys been seeing that clip that's going around where Nick Sirianni was like, "Yo, throw up a deep ball to him. If we score, we win the game," and he was right. Devontae Smith really outshot, and we were talking about this at the
Yeah,
house too
yeah,
all day. That
absolutely.
Devontae Smith is going to have a lot more targets and a lot more catch. Well, he only had one more catch more than AJ Brown, but he was going to have a lot more looks as AJ Brown was going to get locked down. That became falls though, but Devontae Smith. What a great play. What a great game he had. And he really shut down some critics, I think, in this game, having 4 catches for 69 yards and a tug. 17 yards on average. Great receiver. What do you guys think about his play?
Well, Devontae Smith in the Super Bowl before also played great. Every time he plays the Chiefs, he seems to come out hot. He's a great receiver, and maybe AJ Brown sticks around. Maybe he doesn't. If he doesn't, it'll be great to see Devontae Smith take that step into a wide receiver one role and see what he will be able to do.
What do you think, Spence?
Devontae Smith, has faced a lot of criticism, a lot of doubters. It's great to see that a guy like him, has found his way in the league, and he's consistently their best wide receiver, in my opinion. I think that Devontae Smith goes in there every game, can play in the slot, can play at the wideout. He's just such a threat, man. His route running is unbelievable. I think it was a smart play by Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore to call that deep shot, but absolutely, like you said, that was a dagger in the hearts of Kansas City fans everywhere in the world, and they really couldn't come back from that point.
I'm honestly very happy that they lost. They barely ran the ball too, and I don't understand that interception that Patrick Mahomes threw in his own red zone. It was like what it was first and it was first and 10 on their own like 4 or 5 yard line. Why the hell? Yeah, the running game is not working all game, but you're backed up in your own end zone. You got to run the damn ball. Why do you think they didn't run the ball? Because it was still what the second quarter.
Well, if you really look at it, right, this is Patrick Mahomes we're talking about here. This is, one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it. Incredible arm talent. If there's one quarterback in the league that you're gonna, trust to throw the ball in a situation like that, I think it would be Patrick Mahomes. But that just goes to show how effective that Philadelphia defense was in that game. They were an unstoppable force.
That's true. PG, what do
Well,
you
that
think about
first
that?
half was an absolute mess. Right off the bat, Chiefs are not able to establish a run, and when you can't establish the run, everything falls apart from there. They had what Kareem Hunt for 9 yards, P Ryan for 8, and then your top rusher was Mahomes. You're never going to be able to win football games with that type of run support, and that just puts a lot of pressure on Mahomes, who also came out in the first half looking the worst we've ever seen him play by
Yeah.
far.
What do you think was the difference maker for the Eagles is besides defense stopping the run and the pass, what do you think the difference maker was for the Philadelphia Eagles to start off so hot that they did? Because no one thought they were going to start off this hot. Like Jahan Dotson bombed the first quarter for the 1 yard line. What do you guys think their key success was in that first quarter, that first drive?
They were prepared and they wanted it
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
They came
Yeah.
out of the gates hot, and the Chiefs just weren't able to match it. When you in these types of games, every drive matters, and the Chiefs were not able to take advantage of their drives, while the Eagles did at every opportunity.
Bet you
Yeah,
agree with that one?
no, I absolutely agree with PJ. I think another component that people often, like don't realize is that they came prepared, like PJ said, and they knew what Spagnuolo had in store, his blitz packages, everything like that. They just played poised, good complementary football, and they knew what was ahead, and they had tackled it head on. Hate to say it coming from a Cowboys fan, but Philadelphia was a
Yeah.
prepared team, and they were the better team. There's no way around it.
I gotta say one highlight point from that game for the Chiefs, and they got crushed, is Xavier Worthy. I cannot believe the Buffalo Bills passed up on him for Keon Coleman. Is that gonna end up biting the Bills in the ass in the next 10 years?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it will. Coleman's a great wide receiver, don't get me wrong, but Worthy, especially near the end of half of the season, really came to his own. He's fast, speed kills in the NFL, and getting the ball in his hands with Patrick Mahomes is always going to be a very dangerous threat to the rest of the NFL.
Spence, what do you think?
Yeah, no, they've got their guy. It's going to be interesting to see how they approach, the off season, signing free agents, drafting, but absolutely I can envision him as a wide receiver one for the next 10 years. The guy is incredibly fast, got, pretty damn good hands too, I would say. He's just he's just adjusted into that offense so seamlessly, and it's incredible to see big, good Texas guy, and that guy's been working hard. It's good to see Worthy having success.
What I'm thinking here too, if I'm just looking at the Chiefs roster, if Travis Kelce leaves, they're gonna have a lot of holes to fill too with the receiver part because Juju's probably not coming back next year. I don't know what D Hop's gonna be doing. D Hop might not be coming back. The only two receivers I could see that's gonna be sticking around is gonna be Xavier Worthy, obviously, because he's still on a rookie deal, and Hollywood Brown. Who would you like to see them find in the off season and free agency to sign? as a receiver 3 or 2 and a tight end 1. Who do you guys think they should sign?
Well,
Little
with
Tyreek Hill
Rice coming
reunion.
back, I don't think the receiving core needs any help.
Bet. Who do you think they should sign as a tight end? I don't know the free agency for a tight end right now, but
Well, the thing is that they're gonna be drafting, number 31, if they don't trade up or nothing happens. Along with the running backs in this draft class, the tight end list is so stacked.
do you think they
And there's
tried?
incredible talent.
Do you think they
But you know
tried
what?
a
Why
tight
don't you
end?
let Noah Gray expand into that role? You have Peyton
Exactly. Yeah.
Hendershot. You have a fantastic quarterback. You got a great play caller. Let's just see what happens. Let's see these guys adjust into the number one role and see how they do.
Do you think they draft a receiver, if anything, in this draft? They maybe trade up and get like maybe Luther Burton because they're not going to get McMillan. McMillan's going to go in the top 10, I believe. He's projected to. Do you
Yeah, I
think
know
do
he
you,
will.
do you think they trade up for you or even Tyler Warren if Travis Kelce leaves?
Well, what's made this Kansas City team so great, aside from Patrick Mahomes, is their defense, right? So if you look at certain packages, what they get, they might be able to get Malachi Starks in the late first round. Reed, their safety, he's a free agent. A great defense that can stop pass from other team is always going to help you win games. So as I've said, you got to draft the best player available, and you got to see who's on the board when they pick. But I could totally envision them trying to deepen their linebacker room or even their secondary unit. We'll see.
Peach, what do you think? Peach, you agree with that?
Yeah. Take best player available. The receiving core is fine. It's going to be Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Rashid next year. Missing Rashid this year was big for the
That's
team.
right. Actually, yeah,
The
that's true.
big
I
blow.
forgot about
Yeah.
Rashid. Yeah, I forgot about Rashid. That's my fault.
I actually wouldn't mind running back. It's a deep running back draft. Maybe
Yeah.
scoop one up later. Hopefully Pacheco can come back to what he was pre-injury, but if he's not able to go back there, you're gonna need someone to fill that void. Kareem Hunt's just an year older. Very
Yeah,
serviceable back, but having
Kareem
him
Hunt's
come back and
probably
do it again is a big ask.
I would say Kareem Hunt's probably going to sign like for another 1 year deal. Pacheco's on. I think Pacheco has 1 or 2 years left. But yeah, they can totally go sign a nice receiver, running back 3, maybe Scattaboo, maybe Ollie Gordon, maybe one of those guys.
It's a deep draft to do it. Running backs are back.
So yeah,
The
the running
running
backs
backs are
are
back.
back, especially when probably the only one I could see that's going in the first round too is going to be Genty. That's going to be the only running back, and the rest are going to be like guards, tackles, defensive ends. Like Abdul Carter's gonna go in the top 3. Maybe he
Oh,
could
100%.
arguably be the first overall pick, but he's not gonna be because Cam Ward's probably gonna go first overall or Shador Sanders, one of those 2 quarterbacks. But Abdul Carter, I gotta say, he's probably the best quarterback in this draft. Best defensive edge rusher
Oh,
in this.
100%.
Oh
He
yeah,
should be
there's
the
no
number
doubt.
one pick. You
Yeah,
can't pass up on a Michael Parsons.
yeah, literally a Michael Parsons 2.0. I just hope he does not go to Philadelphia. He really wants to be an Eagle so badly. And if he gets drafted by the Eagles, I have no idea what would happen to to the Dallas Cowboys if they let another pass rusher like Michael Parsons go to the Eagles. I honestly have no idea.
No,
But
there's going to need to be another Laramie Tunsil incident with the gas mask for that to happen.
yeah,
Or, perhaps a Jalen Carter too.
yeah. Oh my God. Now, this is a good draft. I'm really happy to see the draft combine comes up in April. Or no, in March. See what happens there. See if people can boost their stocks. But let's talk about that halftime show. I'm not a fan of Kendrick, but what do you guys think? What do you guys think about that halftime show?
You know,
Kind of boring. Very boring.
It
It
was
was,
it
it
was
was kind
pretty
of hard to
crazy.
hear. The audio wasn't clean. I don't know. Just I like Kendrick, but not my favorite set of his.
Spencer, you're a big Drake fan. What do you think about
Yeah,
that?
no, as a Drake fan, it was painful to watch, and even crazier you see Serena Williams doing the crip walk, as she,
Crazy.
yeah, it's unbelievable. I think that you gotta have some impartiality here, some unbiased, artists. Get somebody that's scandal free, bring him in there, bring Creed back.
Yes, bring
Even
it back.
consider Nickelback or something like that, man. We need to make halftime shows great again.
You have to. That would be amazing if they could make halftime shows great again. Because the last couple of years have been sluggish. I think the best one that I've watched in a couple of years is that SoFi one, the Rams one.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
SoFi one was really
With
good.
all the
No,
boys.
and
The fellas came back for one like the top for one more round and made a show out of it at SoFi. But let's move on from the Super Bowl. Let's talk about Team Canada. The Four Nations kicked off on Wednesday. Team Canada beat Sweden 4-3. What do you guys think about their Team Canada's performance in that first game? PJ, you go first.
That first period was absolutely incredible. One of the best hot periods I've ever seen out of any team. The rest of the game, they slipped up a little bit, but when the time came to go and win that game, Canada was able to get it done. And it's a great sight to see, especially after watching those World Junior games.
Spencer, what do you think?
Canada did come out flying. They're getting a lot of shots on goal. I thought the game was going to be a beating.
Yeah.
However, you got to give Sweden credit. That's an incredible roster, very deep goaltending. Their defensemen are world class. That team's good and they battle hard. And you have to give them credit. It's not that Canada necessarily took their foot off the gas. I think Sweden is just that competitive and that good of a team. And we'll see Saturday evening when Canada and USA go best on best and head to head. That is going to be certainly a sight to see.
That's going to be a fiery game on Saturday. Let's talk about Sidney Crosby for a second. 37 years old, and he's still killing it. That backhand, no look pass. What do you guys think about that play? That was beauty to open up the tournament.
Well, Crosby's going to be Crosby. He's 26-0 in his last 26 in a Canada jersey. It's for a reason. Crosby will always, no matter how old he is, will be able to elevate any hockey team he steps onto. And he just showed that again on Wednesday. He was incredible all around.
Oh, it
Spence,
was
what
it
do you
was
think?
certainly a treat, for a younger version of myself to see Crosby doing what he's doing still at this level, at this efficiency, and at this frequency. It's incredible, and just shows you that a player like him is just truly timeless. We have LeBron James in hockey right now, and his name is Sidney Crosby, number 87. This guy is going to be doing this for another 3, 4 years. He is a guy that we're truly blessed to watch, and we might not ever see a talent like him ever again.
He literally is Captain Canada. What do you guys think about Connor McDavid's performance in this first game?
Oh, he played well. He's fast, man. It's like the one thing Marner's trying to play with him, you can tell Marner's not used to playing with that type of speed, but once Marner in that line gets used to playing with McDavid's speed, watch out. It's going to be dangerous later in
It's
the
going to be
tournament.
super dangerous. Spence, what do you think about his performance?
Well, he's got an undeniable amount of skill. Like I think a player to his caliber, he's on a different level right now than anybody on earth. And you have to give him some time to adjust into a new system. When you think about it, he works with Hyman and Draisaitl, and he has that chemistry, especially on the power play unit. But you just got to let him get settled in on 5-on-5 hockey. Get his speed up a little bit more, adjust to the caliber of defenses he's going against. And I think, next game on Saturday, when it matters against the USA, he'll be playing his best hockey.
Tough blow for Team Canada early on in the tournament with Shea Theodore going down, being out of the tournament. Do you guys think this is going to be a big impact on Canada's blue line or not?
Yeah, because right now Makar's also sick as well.
Oh, yeah, I saw
So
that.
right now they have Korninski at defense. Not exactly what you're looking for in a best on best tournament, but that's still a very loaded, deep roster. I don't think it'll hurt him too bad, but definitely not what you're looking to see with a game against the States coming up.
Well, I've said it before. Our dreams are going to live and die with our goaltending. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you put in that blue line. You are so top heavy that it really like there's no excuse for a lack of performance and such. As I said, you're going to live or die on that hill and on how Canada's goaltending plays here. But John Cooper is a tremendous coach, responsible for the development and the fantastic career of legendary defenseman Victor Hedman. We have great coaching, and no matter who you put in that blue line, you have a young talent like Kevin Korchinski, or even let Josh Morrissey get a bigger, improved role. That team has absolutely no excuse to not produce, and I think the loss of Theodore is going to hurt, but not as much as people may anticipate it will.
Overall, there's been a lot of conversation about the goaltending. How do you guys think Binghamton played in that first game?
He played all right. It it was an all right game for Binghamton. Good for him to get his feet under him. Hopefully he comes out a little bit more poised in the US game, but no complaints during that Sweden game from him.
Yeah,
Spence,
I'm on the same page as him. I think he played pretty good.
yeah.
When you have goaltending like that, you could sleep at night knowing nothing catastrophic is going to happen. However, with that being said, it's going to be interesting to see how he attacks. The American shooters, with guys like Austin Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk are just so dynamic and so offensively poised. That's where the true test is for Jordan Pennington. But I like what I saw from him on Wednesday evening against Sweden.
That's
Let's
going to be a
talk.
very tall task.
It's going to be a very tall task, but let's talk about the beating the United States put on Finland last night. 6-1, the States beat Finland. What do you guys think about that game overall?
I was beautiful hockey from that American team. Absolutely beautiful hockey. The way they were passing that puck around, the movement, all the goals were great goals for the most part. And they look dangerous this tournament.
They look like the
Canada's really
best
got
team.
their work cut out for them.
They do. Spence, what do you think with the
Yeah.
States?
The most dangerous man is a man on a mission. And right now, that USA team is a team with a mission. They're playing for number 13, Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Like they have, a support system. They have a movement that they're down, obviously, to get behind. And that team is truly playing the best hockey that, the country has ever produced in their history. That team is so dynamic. They're gritty, and that's exactly what you want in a best on best international tournament. The USA has it all.
Let's talk about the Kachuk brothers for a second. They combined for 5 points last night, 4 goals, 1 assist. What do you guys think about their play? And are they going to be the best duo in hockey?
Absolutely awesome to see them play together. Incredible hockey from them. If they ever pair it up in the NHL, it's going to be a dangerous hockey team.
Yeah, that would never happen. But Matthew Tkachuk plays his best hockey in the postseason and in games that matter. He is an integral part to why Florida Panthers have had two Stanley Cup runs, one resulting in a victory. He is instrumental to that offense. He's the heart and soul of whatever team he plays on, and being able to see those two play together is something special. And the Canadian in me wants to hate a little bit, but you have to appreciate good old style players, and that's exactly what Brady and Matthew are. Son of Keith Tkachuk, they have got some legendary lineage, and I want to keep seeing them play some great hockey.
I'm gonna ask you guys this. I know I can know what the answer is. Who do you guys think, projector wise, project who you guys are gonna think is gonna win the four nations face off? Who's gonna win it?
Well, my heart says Canada, but my mind's saying the United States. The United States roster is just a little bit better goaltending, a little bit deeper blue line, and that forward depth is just as good as Canada's. It's going to be a real tight game, but I think US edges it out this year.
Spencer, who do you got?
Yeah, USA has Canada beat on paper. However, when you have number 87 on your roster, well, then magic can happen, right? So we got to see how Sidney Crosby and how that top heavy, first line reacts to America's play. But it's just completely dependent on how Binnington plays, and I could see Canada pulling off another masterclass victory here to win the tournament and remind the world that Canada still owns the game of hockey.
Yeah, I would love to see it, but I
Yeah.
after last night, how perfect I say perfect the states played. I think it's gonna be the states to win the tournament. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. I'm Canadian. I hope wrong. But I think it's gonna be the States. Let's move on to football again. And Spence, you're gonna love this topic. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys, their new coaching staff. How are you liking it?
It's a great sight. A lot of people were criticizing Schottenheimer, saying he's never been a play caller. He's just stepping into this new role. He has no experience. But at the end of the day, when you look at coaches like Nick Sirianni and who had a similar uprising, Schottenheimer's father was a legendary coach in the NFL. That's exactly how Shanahan got his shot. He brought in a fantastic support cast aside from losing um, cornerback coach Al Harris. That one hurts, but the staff that he brought in, we have Nick Sorensen at special teams. We've got Matt Elberfluss at defensive coordinator. We could truly unlock, Micah Parsons, Maris Leofow, DeMarvion Overshown's potential here, with a great support staff and some great play calling. I am beyond ecstatic and anticipating, watching the Dallas Cowboys play next season.
And they added Ken Dorsey to the staff as a pass game specialist. I think that's actually a big hire for the Cowboys, especially if Clay Adams doesn't pan out to be a pretty decent or good offensive coordinator. Ken Dorsey will probably just take it over in the next offseason. But I think this is overall pretty decent coaching staff, young. Experience wise, young. A lot of them are in the single digits for coaching in the NFL, like 6, 7 years. Some of them are on their first terms of being coordinators or being a head coach at Schottenheimer. It's going to be weird to see. It's going to be an experiment to see. Let's see who they can draft now. It's the draft. Now we're up to the draft. Hopefully it goes well. First free agency, we already know what's going to happen in free agency. The Dallas Cowboys probably going to sign probably one or two guys, older guys, veteran
Yeah,
guys.
washed.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah,
The
washed
Jerry
up
Jones
guys.
way.
Yeah, the Jerry Jones ways. We're probably going to draft well. But adding Matt as defensive coordinator, and he's had a billion years in the NFL. He's been a head coach. Now he's back at a defensive coordinator role. I really hope he's better than Mike Zimmer. I hope we could find that guy that was like Dan Quinn, and I think we did find it.
Yep.
But Peach, what do you think about? You're a Patriots fan. What do you think about the Patriots off
Oh,
season?
great start so far. There's still a lot of work to be done. We leave that on Elliot Wolf, who, I mean, not my favorite person to leave that in, but we got to see what happens. But the staff has been all great signings. Vrabel coming home is something we love to see. He's a great coach, been doing AFC Championship before. And then with Drake May at the helm, there's no doubt in my mind he can get back to that.
What do you project Drake May is going to do this season?
This season, I think he's can be a wild card. He can be fighting for a wild card spot this year. He makes plays that only great QBs in this league make. He shows you the flashes, and when you get some talent around him, watch out, and it's going to be a very fun Patriots team to watch.
What do you guys think about that award ceremony that happened a couple weeks past? Who do you guys think totally actually deserved it? Did you guys actually think Josh Allen deserved the MVP?
Absolutely not. I think that was Lamar's award. And if we're, going based off of the logic of better stats and whatnot, then why was Dak Prescott not MVP last season? I think it's a complete mockery. Another controversial one was Jared Verse, outside linebacker for the Rams over Quinyon Mitchell. I personally agree with it. Jared Verse is a monster, great run stopper. He's been consistent all year. Other than that, I think they did a pretty good job. Pat Surtain at Defensive Player of the Year. It just goes to show that it's not only an edge rusher award, and I'm happy, to see them give some love to the DBs and cornerbacks because they, truly can impact the game.
Peach, what do you think?
I believe you should have went to Allen. If you are going to give it to Lamar the year before, you got to stay consistent with what you define as an MVP, and I feel like they did that this year, giving it to Allen.
What do you
Other than
think
that,
they defined as the MVP? Because I'm honestly totally lost on what they define as
Yeah,
MVP now.
I
Like
agree.
I'm
it's
totally
who
lost.
added the most value to their team.
Yeah,
And
okay, yeah.
believe outside of stats, Allen added a lot to that Bills team. He stepped up all season when he needed to. He got down turnovers, and the stats may have not have shown it as much, but he played damn near perfect football this entire
Well, if
season.
we're gonna talk, adding value to the team, then why was Saquon Barkley not considered? Because realistically, he's entirely responsible for their production and their
Yeah.
success.
I
If
agree
it's
with
a
that.
most valuable player award, well then we have to start looking at some other positions then.
It's most valuable QB award.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's a
But
QB
Lamar
award.
Jackson was more valuable to his team than Josh Allen was, and I'll die on that hill.
I'll die on that hill too because I'm honestly a Bills hater. But to be honest, if Josh Allen was not the quarterback for Buffalo, they would not make the playoffs. They would have not made the playoffs. They would not made a run to the AFC Championship. They would have not done anything, to be honest. So yeah, it does make sense if we're going off that most valuable position. Why most
Yeah, well,
valuable
same could be
quarterback?
said about almost every starting quarterback in the league too, right?
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
playoff performer.
yeah.
Everybody's as integral to that to their offense as the QB. But
But that's like the
uh,
most. That's that VP award is like the most. They gotta at least out to the public. What are the reasons
yeah,
on why
what
these
the
guys?
what the reason the committee chose him for?
Yeah, yeah.
Associated Press, I believe it is.
And I don't even know because I saw the ballots or whatever on Twitter. Adam Schefter tweeted it out, but one guy had Lamar Jackson ranked fourth. I was absolutely stunned at that. I was so shocked at that. They had Joe Burrow. All of them had Joe Burrow 2 and 3. One had him at 4. They all had Lamar Jackson. A couple at 1, a couple at 2. One had him at 4. Whoever voted for Lamar Jackson to be fourth in that rankings for the MVP should lose his reasoning to vote because that was ridiculous. It was always 1 and 2. It was always Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. There was no one else in that conversation. But whoever voted him for fourth
Yeah,
was
that's embarrassing.
yeah, it's embarrassing. It's totally 1,000%
I believe he was
embarrassing.
an old Steelers QB, so maybe that vision rival.
Mm-hmm.
No,
these days a little bit.
you should lose your vote. You're diminishing the integrity of the game and the sake of the award. If you're voting him at number 4, then you shouldn't have the privilege or right to vote.
Yeah, like I'm okay with everyone just voted him second and everyone voted Josh Allen first. Makes like, just both of them make sense. If whoever won that award, it was gonna go. It could have gone either way.
1A,
Um,
1B.
but at the same time, I think they got to stop the voting to if both quarterbacks are 1 and 2 are going into the playoffs and the projected chance of playing against each other in the playoffs. They gotta let those votings go on for maybe 1 or 2 more weeks instead of editing the voting on week 18 because I know it's a regular season award, but at the end of the day, it would have been amazing. We did actually see it this year. Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. Whoever won that game should have just won the MVP right there. Obviously, that Josh Allen won it, but that's how the storyline should have lined up. That whoever wins this matchup is going to be the MVP of the league. But they already gave it away when Lamar Jackson didn't even show up for the award ceremony. Like they
Yeah,
already gave it
yeah,
away,
it was obvious.
and they had Josh Allen front row too. So, but he got the
Yeah,
sport.
you know.
Yeah, and he had the sportsmanship award, but I'm pretty sure he's like the quarterback that talks the most shit. So I don't know how he won that sportsman award. I honestly, some of these awards I don't even know. But that award show ceremony, they just dragged it on. Just get to the
Oh,
MVP.
way too long. Say the awards. Let me know who won. Hear the
Exactly.
speeches. Let's move on with our day. We don't need
Exactly.
all this other stuff
Yeah,
going
we don't
on.
need all that. I really do like how they do name the defensive rookie year award and the rookies at the same time. I do like that, but for the rest of the awards, is also they need a D line award though. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
Just an O line award or O line separate of the D line or instead of a lineman award. Because
They
Let's
gotta
man,
give
get some
Lyman some
start getting
love.
some credit. Yep.
yeah, O line needs some love. D line,
Trench work.
you could probably keep them in with the defensive player of the award because they get it a lot, like Miles Garrett. But yeah, they need an offensive lineman award. Who, if there was one, who do you guys think would have won it this year?
Mm,
Got to give it to Tristan Wirfs or Penei Sewell, at left, right tackle. These guys
yeah.
have been put on an island all year long, and these guys are
Lane
incredible.
Johnson has been incredible this year too. There was a few guys. Would have been really cool to see who they give that award out to this
Yeah,
year.
they got to fix that. And they got to figure that out. But let's talk about the Raptors for a second. That BI trade, and he just signed a contract. Do you think it's positive for the Toronto Raptors? Yes or no?
Absolutely. This Raptors team, it's young, lots of young rookie talent, bringing in BI, an older veteran player. It's a great look to mentor these players up. And let's get in the playoffs a little bit. Let's start getting these players some playoff experience. Yeah, we're gonna probably get bounced in 1 and 2 the first few times, but it's a good building for the players, and it's how you get back to being a championship caliber roster.
If the Raptors want success, and you have to fully commit to a rebuild here. So I see an opportunity in the likelihood of a player like RJ Barrett being shipped off. He's having a career year now. Realistically, we're not pushing for the playoffs this season. Ship him away, get some first round picks, and you got to build around players like Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram because they are, incredible pieces that one day in offense can be built around and go compete for championships. But I just don't think right now is that time, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens, with the Raptors, Bi, RJ Barrett, and in front office come this offseason playoff time.
The one thing I don't like is how they already gave up on James Wiseman. They just already
Yeah.
waived him literally the day after the trade. Because at one point Wiseman was so high. He was what the fourth overall pick or something like
Oh,
that.
him on Golden State, he showed flashes that he could really turn into something great. Never panned out, and then coming
And it's
off
like
the
another
Achilles
Anthony
tear,
Bennett.
Yeah,
it's
literally
it's
another
gonna be
Anthony
tough for
Bennett.
him to make a comeback to the NBA. It would
I'm
have
for
been nice to see
sure.
the Raptors do a little project with him though.
And they always do projects like that. Like they created Norman Powell and Fred Van Like maybe try and create James Wiseman or send him to the G League for the rest of the
Yeah,
season.
exactly.
But no, they just gave up on him. But that's okay. The bench looks awful. But wouldn't it just be fun if you had James Wiseman playing for like 5, 6 minutes a night? That would be electric. Maybe get the ticket sales up a little bit. But yeah, I think overall the trade is great, and he signed, so that's good. Now let's try
Yep.
and go and get Cooper Flag, but because we're the Toronto Raptors, they're not going to get the
We're not
first
going to
overall.
tank for him. Yep.
Yeah, not going to tank for him. Probably not even going to get
I
the
mean, the
first
tank's
overall.
still on this year. But next year, I don't want to see this team come down tanking again. I think it's
Cooper
time
Flag is
to,
a Washington Wizard.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think it's time for this Raptors team to go out and start winning some basketball games next year.
I think it is too. I think especially whoever they honestly draft. This draft is pretty chill, pretty decent. So whoever they pretty much draft, it should be good. They have Grady Dick, they have Brandon Ingram, they're gonna have Scotty Barnes, and if RJ Barrett stays around, they have Jakob Poeltl. Like they have a good starting five. So whoever they bring in as like a
Bring
sixth
some
man,
depth in. Yep.
bring some depth in now, and I think they could start making a push for the playoffs. Yeah, they'll probably get bounced in the first round, but that would be a positive because I think it's time for Toronto to get some positives. Because since
Yeah, that's how they did it last time too. That Raptors team with Lowry DeRozan took a very long time. There was a few first round exits, and then you ran into LeBronto for a little bit.
yeah,
But
Yeah,
LeBron.
yeah,
those
LeBronto.
playoff runs are what made them ready for when it was their time. So hopefully this Raptors team can start building up some momentum like the older team did.
Yeah, because the Raptors have had zero positives since the championship in 2019.
Yeah,
It's time.
yeah.
It's time to make a push. I think it's time to make a push. We'll see next season. But anything else you guys want to talk about in this episode?
No, I think we've hit everything in the sports world. Fed, you got to have us back on, and we got to talk. After the Four Nations tournament, and
We got to talk about
around draft
Toronto.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
we got to talk about. Actually, let's talk about Toronto quickly for actually a second.
Let's talk about some Leaf
Yeah,
hockey
Yeah,
yeah,
quickly.
because
yeah.
they're at the break right now. How do you guys think the first half of the season has been going for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
It's been great. It's been a great time in Toronto. We have a unbelievable goalie tandem. There's no question marks this year. Stolarz and Wall are probably two of the best you can ask for. It's going to be interesting who they go with playoff time, but that defense, adding Tanev, it's been great. Offense is still rolling like usual. We're going to need work done at the deadline, but the deadline goes well. I really am a big believer this year.
Spencer,
Oh
what do you
no,
think?
PJ hit the nail right in the head. I'm absolutely thrilled as an avid enjoyer and a lifelong Leaf fan. What we've seen Brad Treliving do, bringing in Craig Berube, a head coach, an excellent staff, Mark Savard, as an assistant coach, and just that the creation of this team, signing with Stolars, guys like Lawrence, guys who have Stanley Cup experience with Florida Panthers, Oliver Ekman Larson. I think there are PG said, there are no question marks. Obviously, there might be some things we can address like a third line center at the deadline, but at the end of the day, the Leafs are a real contender and they will be shopping aggressively by the deadline. And whatever Brad, True Living decides to do, I'm completely on board and I trust the process. The Leafs have looked the best they've ever looked.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think
No,
this.
no blown third period leads too. That's probably my
Oh no,
favorite
the
thing
team,
about
the
this
team.
team.
This is the best team I've seen in the
Berube,
last
Yeah,
10 seasons.
this is
Berube
the
has
best
brought a
team.
good brand of hockey to Toronto.
Yeah, he's got a great culture, and the team, is clearly loves him in the locker room, and they've gotten behind it. I'm incredibly thrilled and
They added some
anticipating
grit.
playoffs. No,
Yeah.
they really did. They played
If
a
it's
great
a
game.
first round exit again, I don't even know what they could do more now. Like
Oh
it's
well,
like
at that
Let's just hope it's not. Let's
at,
hope we don't gotta cross that bridge.
at that point, just sell the team.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be tough. Spence is a little bit lagging out a little bit. Oh, he's back.
but yeah, no, the Wi-Fi is a little bit dodgy, but I can hear you guys.
But yeah, if they're a first round exit, like relocate the team at that point. Now your Foss could use a team.
Yeah. Maybe get Hamilton one.
Because there's really nothing much they could do more because they brought in the right guys, brought in the right coaching staff. Literally, the issue was defense. They brought in defense. They brought in the studs. They kept the studs. They kept the tandem going. After this year, though, if they have nothing to show for it, not even like a,
They're gonna have to bring McDavid in next year.
yeah,
Yep.
literally, yeah,
Yep.
sell the
Oh,
house
that's
and
all that's
David.
left.
Yeah. Spence, what do you think about that? What's gonna happen if they don't come out in the first round this year?
Well, I can tell you right now, number 16, Mitch Marner will not be a Maple Leaf. You gotta disband in that core four.
Yeah.
If they don't doesn't amount to anything this year, then clearly that that experiment hasn't worked. But I think this is the year where they could truthfully, make like a nice splash and a nice impact in the postseason. So we'll just have to, reconnect after then and discuss at that point. But for now, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I think this is the best showing that the Leafs have showed in 10 years. I think it's going to come with a
It's
lot of
exciting.
positives in the playoffs.
And no one's
Hopefully,
going anywhere either. Realistically, I mean, we'd all hate to see a first round exit, but a lot of money opens up in the next off season. There's moves to be made if the unfortunate did happen, and I'm not worried at all. That core is still there, and that's all that matters. And when that's there, it's going to be a great hockey team.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree with that. Well, fellas, that's been the Daniel Federico show. Thank you for PJ and Spence coming on. You guys have
Hey,
anything else
thanks
to
for
say?
having me.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, for
It's
sure. All
been an honor.
right.